This is fucked up. Oh, it's Matt Rogers. It requires a lot of time, yes. Embracing your godliness once and for all. The skies of today. I think they were always like that, and we just weren't paying attention. That's the most likely thing. The fact, obviously, what it is another thing altogether. Just weren't paying attention, mate. They always paying attention. Maybe something else has happened as well, but I'd be at a loss to try to identify it or put my finger on what that is exactly. As you can see today, it is somewhat really fucked up hazy. But you know, what they forget is that this is cloud therapy, and well, why would they even remember, really? I mean, I'm the only one that watches it, but you know, it makes you think, well, thanks to the clouds and the haze, at least that gives me the kind of conditions I need to continue looking for anomalous things. That's all I'm doing, just finding anomalies, looking for very long periods of time, and asking questions. That's all I'm doing. At the same time, enjoying the process while I'm at it. Some of these lines are way too straight, and I question whether or not they are chemtrails in the first place. Some of them look very obviously like chemtrails, but there's something odd about them. Something that involves rotation, and there's this perfect example right in front of me, which is it's a very good angle today, and it's kind of parallel to the edge of the main tree in the middle. And that one seems to be rotating and turning round, both horizontally and perhaps maybe vertically. It does seem to be, I don't know, no, that it's rotating anyway. It seems to be rotating lengthways. I've never really seen a chemtrail rotate. So it does make me wonder whether or not these things are what we believe them to be in the first place anyway. And that's why I think chemtrails is actually a cover-up. I mean, look at that. You've got this hexagonal shape right here. How can anybody say that that's normal? You know, what world are we in? What's happened? Why did it change? Where did these things come from? What is all this about? Look at this. I mean, it's so clearly defined, it's ridiculous. And this thing too is also moving. It's changing angle. Oh yeah, that chemtrail, that seems to be rotating. This thing. It's kind of got this, it's like a twist. So it goes down here. Oops. Kind of goes like that. And comes around like, comes around like that. And it's doing this, doing this kind of rotating, twisting thing. So that twist is gradually working its way down, down, and then and whilst other parts of it are beginning to twist and rotate as well. And then you've got this cloud, this object here, which is moving that way. And these, whatever they are. Everyone calls them fucking chemtrails, and I'm getting a bit sick of it, you know. I mean, even fucking YouTube doesn't know what chemtrails are, and I guess it kind of gets on my tits. It's like, oh, we believe you mean contrails. Nope. No, I don't mean contrails. I think you can look in this image right now and probably find several different things which could be contrails but aren't contrails. And you might even be able to find an example of contrails as well as chemtrails. Oh, so it's kind of rotating that way, but also kind of going that way. Oh, this thing has now moved that way. It's moving down. Anyway. All you have to do really is focus on the areas which are somewhat anomalous, and it should be enough to start making you really question what the fuck's going on. It doesn't make much sense, actually. More and more I try to make sense of it, the less sensible it becomes. And I've looked at so many different things, like multiple Nibiru theories, and holographic universe theories, and there's lots of theories, and just can't quite put my finger on. There's little bits here and there which feel right in between, you know, amongst some of the stuff, and then there are other bits which just don't feel like it's correct, you know. What is it? Zombie feathers. Folk metal. Is this the Chemist. 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 Right, sorry, I'm just reading something. Go to the jungle. God damn. Oh, gilly gilly. That's enough. Oh, something huge. Look, I mean, you can even see the shear factor on this. Look at all of these things indicating. Look at these lines. Where's my bloody thing? Look at these lines, man. Oh, okay, that's completely off, but you can tell that. Look at that. Look at this stuff. Line there. This is huge thing with some kind of motif of lines going across. I don't think these are necessarily chemtrails either. This is some kind of texture, pattern, surface of some kind, you know? So, look, here's another one. This is what gives them away. They rotate. You know, they fucking rotate. They're obviously not chemtrails. You ever heard of a rotating chemtrail? Sure, maybe they might move along with the atmosphere to a certain extent, but usually they tend to just hang around for a while, right? But no, some of these things, they're literally rotating. Hey birdie, literally rotating. Birdie, birdie, birdie. It's almost like it's part of a giant structure, actually. I think I've said this a million times anyway. I won't ever tire of saying it, but you've got these. Right, look at this corner bit here. Where the fuck is it? Hang on, oops, that was my mistake. This corner bit I'm drawing right now, kind of apparently it goes like that, but you know what? Oh, I'm wondering if that's actually an object of some kind. Obviously I've fucked that up completely, but there's so much weird stuff going on with this guy. Obviously something's going on, and they have spraying heavily today. Smells like fucking cockroaches. And also on top of that, the non-spraying chemtrail things as well. So there's two things. I'm wondering if some of it is actually meant to be some way of detection. Or a kind of, pardon me, I was yawning, a detection mechanism of some kind. You know, because all this haze and you've got objects moving through it and they're invisible, and you see haze moving around and all of these other things. Actually, it's a bit of a giveaway, and I think that might be part of the process. The other thing is that, actually I've forgotten the other thing, but what was it? You can note how hazy it is, but there is very obviously texture and shape and some kind of shit happening up there somehow. People could go on about it, blue beam, but what they're not really thinking about is that blue beam's meant to be some kind of deception. That there's something to do with alien races and holographic ships and blah blah blah. A lot of this stuff you can't quite make out or see properly anyway. I don't think that would be the point. The whole point of the idea of Project Bluebeam would be for everyone to see it. The majority of this cloaked stuff is actually unseeable I think some strange UFO thing just literally flew past whilst I was talking there. What the fuck was that? I don't know what that was. I thought it was a bird, but it was almost too fast and too. I don't know what that was. What the fuck was that? Anyway, I've been rambling on a little bit now. What a fucking mess, eh? What a mess. Look at that sky. What a mess. What are we going to do about it? Well, I believe if we put our intention, our love and our attention up on high, and we start, or whatever method of praying or meditation you like to do, and just ask for the sky to be cleared. Hopefully if enough people do it, maybe we'll actually get something. I don't want it entirely cleared, but I wouldn't mind some of it. I wouldn't mind some of the chaos there to be reduced somewhat, so I can actually do it. The haze is deliberately reflecting the sun's in the way anyway, and once the sun moves out of shot, it will probably become easier to see. Oh man, I'm still trying to wake up. I still have sleep now. I still have a few yawns to get let out. Yeah, I really seriously need some caffeine or something to wake me up, because my brain feels smooshy. I feel like I've just been smudged across the road or something. Oh, well, now the sun's reflecting on my window and coming in and giving my eyes. Wonderful. Now that's a bird. Am I going insane? Maybe I'm not seeing right. I don't know. I don't think I am going insane though. I think. Therefore I am. But I also think that these... Oh no, I've lost my train of thought. Awakening! Awakening! Yeah, everybody! Awaken! Awaken, everybody! Yeah. It's probably better to focus on your own process. Oh, ENR crane, excellent. That's right. Terrible looking sky this morning. I'm in a dark place. Oh, honey. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're not feeling too good. Yeah, I was in a horrific place yesterday. Really, really bad. I was in tears. In tears all day. And the day before. On and off the day before, but I was in tears about a lot yesterday. It took pretty much all day to try and come out of this funk of somehow. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough for me for now. I don't think anyone's really that interested anyway. Oh. What can you do? Oh look, here's another one coming along. What's this? So there's obviously something there, smaller than that airplane that's just passing by, obviously because it's higher up, but to look at it, there shouldn't be that much difference, you know? So why is there nothing creating a line up there? See, anomalies, everyday anomalies, things that happen every day that we're not even paying attention to, that we're somehow, we're just somehow accepting that it's normal. It's not normal, man. I mean, I'm not one for normal anyway, but all the things we assume to be normal, seem to be like real or whatever. We've just spent the last, what, 10 minutes watching all of these things, and actually, the more you think about it, the more none of it makes sense. Why are these new lines just suddenly appearing out of nowhere? With no discernible catalyst or thing that's actually drawing those lines, and yet you have these so-called fucking airplanes flying over me every day with no contrails at all. Obviously there must be an altitude issue, or maybe it's a fuel issue. I don't know how it works, but I keep thinking about it, and then I would look at it again and think, well no, it's not any of those things. I don't think those planes are real. I think half of them are holograms. And I also think some of those lines, they're not real either. They're not chemtrails. They're at the edge of something. It's the edge of something. Think about it. Look at it. Notice all of these lines. Where are they going? It's an object. There's definitely something there. Now I'm wondering if actually the point of these chemtrails is actually a way of uncovering just as much as covering up. They probably wouldn't. I don't know. I mean, if you were to turn around to your government and say there are giant pyramids flying in the sky which are invisible and you can't see them, or that there are huge vimanas everywhere, or that there are cloaked ships above us, or something like that, if you were to say that to the government, well, they'd deny it anyway, wouldn't they? But, I mean, they're not going to tell you if they're keeping an eye on it or not. They're not going to tell you if they know about it or not. Then why would they? So I guess we have to get used to the idea of having to find... I mean, if anyone's new to this, you'd have to get used to the idea of looking for answers yourself rather than trying to... It's difficult. We can only guess really from this level. The other problem is, if I was to go in a plane, you go up to a certain altitude, things change again. So, well, I think there's been an arrival of some new birds. Yeah, those bird calls seem to have some new additions, I think. There's one that sounds like a car alarm. I heard it earlier. Quite interesting. Why they do that. Hey, hang on a minute. Look, I think that's one of those triangle ships. Let's see now. Look at that shit. What am I doing? I can't draw at all today. I'm using my mouse because it's quicker. I'd have to get my drawing board out and then maybe I'll just do it this way. Oh shit. I can't even keep on the line. What's wrong with you, Lee? Alright, here we go. Fucking fuck it all. That's how I've been feeling recently. Fuck it all. I'm so fed up with it. Yesterday was so heavy. I could not. I seriously could not get my head together, my thoughts together, my emotions together. It was so hard. And then I spent some time with some friends in Discord, and I gradually was able to express how I was feeling, and it did really help. And I managed to get out, stuff that was really weighing on my mind. But a lot of it is just personal, energetic stuff that's coming up for clearing. New moon means clearing out the old and in with the new. And every time, one particular, I've noticed this now multiple times, but this particular time has been really, really intense. And I've been waking up feeling dehydrated. Oh, Maggie. Oh my god, I think, are those little Maggies? Interesting. I wonder. Anyway. Where was I? So you can see how this triangle thing has now adjusted its position. You know, it still has that. This is something else. This little thing here is kind of next to it, but it's kind of there, and that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking some of these so-called chemtrails are more of an indication of an object being there. So it's either deliberate or what, but it really does give away a lot. If you begin to start looking at some of the detail, and you realise that a lot of it is how a lot of it's been skewed, or is skewed by our atmosphere. It's distorted. There is a displacement element, as well as, what the fuck was that? As well as particulates and other things, and you're kind of thinking, well, surely some of this stuff should look a bit odd. And I think because it's a bit skewed, it's difficult to tell what these things really are. And you've got textures and colours, other things as well to try and discern. It is very difficult, really, I think, to be absolutely sure about what we're looking at here. I do believe there are beings of some description up there. I also believe there are ships too, and all kinds of strange, anomalous stuff. And I know that sounds absolutely fucking crazy, but I don't give a shit. I'm more interested in observing this stuff and trying to work it out. And that's become almost like a daily thing for me for the last couple of years. So we need to kind of, I can only do so much with the technology, but I think what I do with it is pretty cool. I mean, look at that. It changes everything when you start making just a few adjustments. I mean, that looks more like something that it did without any adjustments, to be honest. But here you go. Why is it blue? Yeah, I'm waking up dehydrated, despite the fact that I'm actually keeping myself fairly hydrated. And also, I'm not taking my ADHD medication. I'm collecting it, but I'm not taking it. Because the sensation I have when I wake up the next morning after taking it on a day is the sensation I'm just describing now. This kind of heady feeling, dehydration. My brain just feels a little bit on the sensitive side. Oh man. I do feel like I've got getting a bit of a headache at the moment actually. Could be this strange light, could be anything. The spring. It's big as like cockroaches. Oh. Oh, that's it really, that's what I have to say. I'm just using whatever. Trying to figure this shit out. And that's why I can't really commit to any one idea, because I don't think one idea is going to be good enough. Yeah, I feel that one concept would be limiting, so we have to keep our minds open to multiple concepts and be aware of these multiple concepts, keep them in mind when we look at this stuff, and maybe somehow something might fit, might make sense. But the more we try to define our reality and create limitations on that reality, I think the less likely we'll then be able to see it or determine what it is we're actually looking at in the first place. You know, when you start putting limits on your imagination, you're putting limits on your own reality. Dancing around whilst I'm waiting for my... Look at this stuff. Why are these individual ball things suddenly appearing out of nowhere? What's that all about? Can you see that? Here? And then here? You have to excuse drawing. I am not going out of my way to make this look good, and I'm doing it with my right hand on a mouse. So I think you're getting pretty good, considering. I do wonder if I try to draw along these lines somehow, maybe it would make sense. Maybe something would start to form. But I think the limitation here is that I'm only able to film a quarter of the sky, or you know, my field of view is only about a quarter of the 360 degrees, right? 90 degrees. So without the rest of the sky to put it into context, it makes it very difficult then to guess. But having said that, I tried to compensate with this. Oh wow, isn't that cool? Oh. So is that another vertical chemtrail? A vertical chemtrail, by the way, guys. Vertical. Huh. Interesting. Nice. So this will be my default view anyway. Some kind of round thing there and a round thing there. Let's go around there, but then that comes from there. It's a fucking mess, man. I mean, how are you meant to see anything? But then there's this ball thing here that's just cropped up. I mean, this shit happens live. And you can now understand perhaps why I have spent so many hours sat here watching this shit. It's kind of addictive, actually. But it also gives me a great deal of calm and time to reflect on things. And but you know, if you don't give your entire soul and life to Jesus Christ, you're damned. Sorry to say. You're fucked. I'm noticing this kind of this uncompromising. I gave my soul to Jesus Christ, my whole soul. I gave up being an artist. You know, this woman commenting on this artist's work, this really cool person. You sound new age. You better be careful about what spirit you're talking about. I'm thinking, what? Yeah, this video I was watching yesterday. Some born-again Christian has the audacity to write to this woman who clearly has a remarkable talent and definitely some kind of connection to some divine wisdom and energy, and then you've got this born-again Christian person castigating her because she's talking about spirit, and she's like, oh, you better be careful what spirits you get involved with. Whoa. It doesn't really seem that this person is really engaging in anything dark or questionable, you know. She's talking from the heart, from creation. So, you know, I think it's an artist giving up being an artist to give their life to Jesus. Are you fucking insane? What kind of idiot are you? I wouldn't do that. What? No. You can trust in your faith, you can trust in your belief in God or whatever. You know, you can even consider it a relationship of some description, but turning around and doing that, like, you gotta give your whole soul, your whole life, your whole soul to Jesus Christ. It's the only way. Well, what do I do then? What, do I just sit around and wait for him, or what? What do I do then? What, just carry on? Praise the Jesus. I don't know. I have to say, I did get a bit fed up with that shit. You know? I respect people of faith and different religions. I respect people's right to believe in what they want to. I'm not an atheist anymore. I don't think I'm agnostic anymore. Maybe the fact that I don't even know if I am agnostic or not could suggest that I am agnostic by default. But I don't know where I'm going with this. It's just, I don't want to give my whole life to God. I thought He gave my whole life to me. Isn't that the point? Like, that this is my life? That why would I want to give my life to somebody else? Aren't we meant to be in control of our avatars, and this is our own personal experience? It would not make sense to hand it over to any kind of god or deity. I don't give a shit what their fucking name is. Why would you do that in the first place? doesn't seem right to do that. Now, things like channeling and stuff, that's a very different situation, because if you get people who are walk-ins, right? You get people who are channelers. Just because they're able to connect to that doesn't mean they're being what's the word, possessed, or I think it really does depend on the level, how far you allow it to take. But I don't believe that. You know, yes, of course, maybe there are dark forces and energies that want to take you over and are happy to oblige, particularly if you're doing things like drugs and that kind of shit. You know, you do put yourself in a more vulnerable position energetically when you are doing that. And, you know, the odd occasion here and there might be a negative energy that wants to utilise it, so create the fear. I think going around telling people, it's like, I gotta go around and tell people the truth. No, you don't. Why do you need to go around telling people the truth? What, your truth? I mean, why would you wanna? Well, right, yeah, there is. Hello, my lovely Jax. I've just seen you. Oh man. Yes, I've noticed that I swear, like the classic kind of sundog halo type thing. Like, I've never really seen that before myself personally, but then the other day I thought I caught the edge of it. Remember, you gotta give your entire soul to Jesus Christ. Your entire life. Give up everything. No art, no nothing, no creativity, nothing. So what, I'm just going to sit here on my Todd. Doing fuck all. But if I've given my life to Jesus, that'll be okay. I mean, I hope if I was to give that as an excuse to the government, maybe they'd leave me alone. Maybe they would happily, you know, maybe they would leave me alone. Let me have my time to myself without getting me to fill in all those goddamn forms every year and whatever, however long it is. It's usually a year and a half, 2 years by the time we get around to sending it out. Especially if you end up having to appeal. Honey, I've been feeling like absolute shit. Absolute crap. Really emotional, like on the verge of tears pretty much all day yesterday. It's just last few days I've kind of felt like my heart was breaking at one point, and then I kind of cheered up a little bit yesterday evening, and I was thinking, oh fucking hell, that new moon. Right? I don't know, maybe the Hare Krishnas seem very happy though. So I mean, if there was one, maybe being a Hare Krishna would probably be the most fun one to be. But I mean, being a bit of a shut-in and I'm extremely averse to large groups of people. That would mean I'd have to get over that pretty quickly, as I'd need to do the conga in the street with a lot of people. Oh, yeah. I think the new moon, if it's been really intense, and because that's new moon, well, you know that Super Bowl was on around the same time. There seemed to be a number of events set up around this time, and I'm wondering, you know, if there was some kind of ritualistic element, the Super Bowl around the new moon type of thing, and then that you know, we're meant to be purging and removing all this energy and stuff, and yet then you've got the rituals of the Super Bowl happening, and all of that energy, all of those people paying attention to such bullshit. You know, look at that. Can you see that? They're drawing in the sky. Fucking hell. Yeah. So it's some kind of ritual to they take they'll take all of that attention and focus from all the people watching it, and then they'll convert it, transmute it into some kind of negative intention, perhaps, or maybe just to make things difficult for everybody. You know, just make this new moon extra difficult. You know, you need to purge this shit, but it's not going to be easy. And they'll feed on that shit, man. They feed on the purging too. But the thing is, if they get hold of it, though, they'll get sucked away with it. On the other side of the new moon, yesterday I had this sensation where I felt like I was having all of the darkness pulled out of me, like venom from a snake bite. You know, it was really weird. Like, I just kept having this sensation of like, whoa, like energy being yanked upwards, like like, you know, like, it was interesting. So yeah, I think the best thing to do is just self-care and chill the fuck out. And you know what? No one's getting anything today. That was the only way I've been able to handle it. But look at that. If you know, can you see how that chemtrail goes up and then bends round? That's quite an interesting one today. Oh, have fun. I mean, it's a nice day. I kind of said, I made a promise last night that if it was going to be a relatively nice day, I'd go out and feed the birds. So I mean, they've already got their feeding station anyway, but I also like to go out and throw stuff all over the place and for the ground birds, because they don't tend to do it. They don't tend to use it. For the pigeons, I mean, oh god, they're ridiculous. Enjoy your coffee. Lovely to see you and speak to you again. I hope this energy stuff, I think it's some major collective I can't even get my fucking words out. You know, the collective consciousness, I think, is going through some big purging at the moment, and it's coming through all of us, and fucking hurts. It's like the month of Aquarius, I suppose, you know, and it's Uranus, dramatic, sudden, eccentric, dynamic, whatever, coming in, and then basically kind of, what's it doing? Where was I going with this? I am really literally just babbling. I'm at that point where I should be in a mental institute, man. I'm not even, so I shouldn't even be out really, but like they've got, when you're too intelligent and you can look up, you can still wipe your own ass, they don't want you. Oh, you can still wipe your own ass then, you're good to work. You know? Oh, he's alright, put him back on the treadmill. You're a good soldier for a little longer. Keep on keeping on. Oh look, something big and blue. Hello. Something big and blue is coming down. And you can always tell when there's something there because it just leaves this huge gap. Like a slightly skewed triangle. Could be anything. But yeah. So chemtrails and fake chemtrails and cloak chips and some strange colouring behind the sky, behind the sun. Unfortunately, I can't get it any lower than this. Oh God, what have I done? What have I done? Apologies. There we go, back to that. Trying to reduce it. Yeah, I looked out my window and I thought, fucking hell. I did ask for a nice day last night. And I thought, oh, you know, there's definitely interesting things going on, but we're not going to see it now. There was more blue a little while ago. Oh God. Ooh. What's this? A strip. A strip of something. What's this? What is this? It's like a little lump there. Strip there. Excuse me, I was never good at colouring in. And I've never been that good at just trying to make some. So many forms and shapes here. I do wonder. There has to be, I agree. I totally agree. Yes, we would be treated to some extremely dramatic, crazy and nonsensical things, but at least we'd get to see it. You know, it's like yesterday was fucking awful. I mean, it was so grey, and you know, I made my promise though. I'm going to have to go out and feed those birds at some point. But I think they're ignoring me. They haven't really been very responsive lately. Magpie usually comes by every morning and makes this noise, and then particularly if it sees my window open, and I come over to the window and I say hello. You know, it likes to hang out in the around roughly the same level of height, but in the trees opposite. You know, and it's almost like it's sitting there watching me. And I've also got some binoculars now, so I've started taking to watching them up close from the comfort of my room. Man, I have been. It's almost like there's been a fire. Something set off this energetic fire in me, and maybe in you and other people too. A lot of rage, a lot of just short-temperedness and just impatience coming out as well sometimes. I don't know, maybe it depends. Not too much with the impatience maybe, but certainly with the just this general kind of, oh, everyone's trying to hurt me, why? Why is everybody so fucking, you know? And I'm realising that I've literally spent most of my life being a victim. Not because I wanted to be or anything, but realising that I wasn't basically constantly a victim. And I wasn't even aware of it, you know? Like, I was always being exploited by people, like, taken advantage of, like, people just, you know, and you're thinking, well, I thought they're my friends, you know? And it turns out that they're not your friends, they're just people you get drunk with, or smoke weed with, or do other drugs with, and you have all this kind of jovial, playful fun, but actually it's not, there's nothing to it, there's nothing else there. It is literally just about getting wasted and being an idiot. And you know, I'm all for getting wasted, but my goodness, like, I like to have an intent with my wastedness these days. Yeah, I like to make sure I've got some kind of process. It's like, God, I was doing drugs for the sake of it at one point. It was ridiculous. You know? Then having to admit that to a psychiatrist, in order for them to give me a so-called accurate diagnosis. But actually, really, what's happened is you've been lulled into a false sense of security to give the NHS all of your personal details. They've got a massive file on me, really thick, like yellow pages. Most of it's just photocopies of letters they sent out. You know, it's like, okay, just this ridiculous amount of paperwork. Hello. Kia ora. Reminds me of those adverts. I don't think you'd ever see that Kia ora advert ever again. No, I don't think that Kia ora advert will ever be advertised on live TV again. At least, I don't know, maybe it has been, but NHS, I think the best thing to do is just to pretend you're not ill. And then maybe if we pretended that we aren't ill for long enough, maybe we become not ill. I don't know. I gave way too much of my life to a system that was just collecting data and only interested in making me well enough to go back on the treadmill. Get back on that fucking treadmill and keep on doing what we want you to do. Or maybe the PC police got to them. But I was only, I did, yeah, I told them I was seeking help. I was desperate, mate. You know? Well, now I'm able to do that. I never was able to think myself well before. But the last year or two, things have changed energetically. I've become spiritual, so it's like now I'm able to. There seems to be some special link there, which has given me some kind of energetic boost, so I'm able to try and have more of a handle on myself. But for a long time, I was just basically a skinless human being. I had no skin whatsoever, and I was oversensitive, and I cried at everything, and I had a lot of issues in that respect. It made no sense because I've not had an overly horrific life, just a lot of psychological bullying and abuse from people you think are friends or people in positions of authority, and like teachers, for instance. And eventually that can weigh you down, but I was being a major victim for a long time. Major victim. I didn't like being a victim. Often you wouldn't even there's no respite. Because there seems to be exploiting people who exploit others always, everywhere. Oh man. Sky to the west. Maybe if I sit my head up far enough. Do you know what? I reckon they know that I'm filming. I reckon they know that I have a camera pointing in this direction. Because there have been times, right, where it seems that there's interesting stuff happening over there. Well, I can't move my camera over there because that's kind of where the window is, so... Right. I've actually found meditating has probably given me yes. They know we've filmed, definitely. I don't even know if there's a delay on this. I know that although I've specified it not to have a delay, there's still a 30-second delay. And that never used to be the case, but now it's almost like you're forced to have a 30-second delay. I'm not really sure why they do it, but they can't really get me for anything because I'm not really doing anything bad. It's just that what they can do is just make sure I don't get any views or have any people looking. And I've had a lot of people say to me they don't get the notifications. It's not like I'm that worried about having lots of people to watch. That's not the point of me doing this. So I'm trying to provide a free service that is also beneficial for me. Why can't I? So may as well share it with other people. I'm going to remove these. I'm going to clear this. May as well do it. I've got nothing else to do. Plenty of artwork and stuff, but I mean, this is my job now. I like it. I love my job. I don't get any money for it, but I get plenty of other things from it. It's so rambling. Right, and I've seen that there's this helicopter. There's a helicopter that goes out maybe once or twice a day as well, all the time. Always flies over here. Seems to be hovering around sometimes. I've even looked at it. Definitely playing a game. If they've got nothing else to do and they want to fuck with us, I don't know. I got a feeling that there are beings up there, people maybe even, who do want us to see. Who do want us to see what's going on and understand, at least to a certain degree. I mean, that's partly why I'm wondering if this weird interactivity that I'm having with the sky, some of the creatures and the beings that seem to pop out now and again, it's like, well, let's cycle through this. Out asymmetrical, in asymmetrical, out symmetrical, in symmetrical. So, it's taken me a while to do this, but I've been gradually trying to add more layers and make it more interesting and experiment with symmetry. I do think there's something in the symmetry experimentation as well. Alright. Yeah. Oops. Look at these lines. The weird thing is, these lines are rotating, they're moving very fast, which to me suggests they might not be what we think they are, and actually perhaps they could be like, I don't know, the edge of something, or... And then I noticed that they're rotating on the horizontal as well, like a corkscrew, you know, you can see it. It's weird. Well, why would they be rotating like that? And then I look at that Skydome Atlantis stuff, and I think, well, yeah, it seems like he's onto something, but then he talks about demons, and I'm like, you know. Yep. Oh, good luck with that. Yeah, a lot of clicking. I would just take it. I don't know. I mean, I was heavily medicating myself the other day, so I'm not one to talk about this kind of thing. But I've got anti-anxiety medication I can take, and if I'm having a really bad day, I think nothing of overdosing on that. Like, chug it back. There's just some days where you just need to be totally numb to everything because it's just too much. At least I'm doing it with legitimized drugs. That's the thing, I have to go into town, and the further you go into town, the busier and the more unbearable it gets. I'm going to have to buy some new trainers eventually, and that means I'm going to have to go out to a shop physically to get trainers. Right. Yeah, it's not so good if you're having to go out. Frequency as well that I keep hearing, the high-pitched noise, that gets hot, that gets a lot louder at night, especially when I'm going to bed. Recently as well, it's been quite fucking annoying. It's like, can you please turn that down? Turn that fucking noise down. I've never been diagnosed with tinnitus or anything like that. Never had any of that kind of shit. So the fact that I started having that issue, I know, mate. I know. But they're also effective for the thing that they need to do anyway. So I'm very sparing. I have these prescriptions, but I'm very careful with it. You know, I've gradually made myself reduce my antidepressants to the point where I'm only taking a small amount every other day. And then I've had to really be careful and selective about when I've chosen to take my other meds as well. Maybe I I'm trying to wean myself off a lot of it. Because the last thing you really need in some kind of event or situation that, you know, where everything fucks up, is to be a person dependent on antidepressants or anti-anxieties, and suddenly there's no more of them. Right. Is there like a high-pitched tone or something over there too, or? I mean, I'm thinking everybody, anyone that's waking up can probably hear it, but I'm not sure what difference the 5G makes. I mean, I've looked into it, but to be honest, it's the stuff of nightmares and quite difficult shit to take in. But at least they make nice patterns in the sky, eh? Especially when you create a symmetry to it. It does add something though. It does make you think, okay, well, that's possible. It might give me an idea of what's up there, to an extent. At least a quarter of it. Right. I mean, I don't know if they've started doing that here in the UK, but look at that. A vertical column of cloud. Just like that. So some kind of frontal object is moving in. I wonder if it's the cube ship. I've noticed there's a cube type craft that goes around. I actually think they're the friendly ones. They're the ones that like to hover around and play with the symmetry, weirdly. There's something going on there as well. So if I pull the contrast all the way down. Oh, I had the gamma off all this time. Just turn that up a bit. Granted it's darker, but it does give a lot more detail, so. Right, and it has this kind of almost like a dragon head or something on one corner. It's kind of weird. It looks like a dragon head, or it tends to have this whatever atmospheric stuff that's going on around it, creates some strange shapes and whatever. But that's one of the interactive ones. I think they're one of the nice guys. Hover around a bit, and then when I've started putting on the symmetry. Oh, thank you very much, TJ. lovely to have you here. Thank you for popping in and listening. Oh, 1 hour and 11. At least it's stuff that we can just stare at and go, yeah, fucked up, yeah, that's a bit fucked up too, yeah, that's a bit fucked up, and that's a little bit fucked up as well. Oh, hang on a minute, I think that is the cube ship, you know. They're the ones that like playing, so I'm going to see what happens here. Oh, isn't that cool? Okay, let's see. So if I put it... My favourite one is out in symmetrical, because I think it's probably the most accurate. Get them all. This is going to be the one where they'll start creating all these different shapes and stuff. It is like literally having a live kaleidoscope happening, but there's some kind of awareness going on that's actually doing it. It's absolutely insane. It's like they've got a copy of they must be. I would think they'd be watching the live stream, but they're obviously not, because I'm not getting any indication that they're watching. You know, there's not like, it doesn't increase the viewing figures or anything. So there must be some kind of other thing. Maybe they're able to extrapolate, you know, get hold of broadcasts and internet data without necessarily giving themselves away. So, but yeah, look, it's really changing. So a quarter of the screen, the normal standard version would be lower bottom, sorry, bottom right. That's the standard one, and then it's been mirrored in the other three. But it's such an amazing... It's when they start interacting with you, that's the interesting thing. And to have that feeling, like when they create a face, when they do something, that's almost like a confirmation to say, yeah, we're here. We're, you know, hey, nice hello, and they enjoy it. I think it gives them something to do. Something to do. The alien reptilians sat at their computer consoles and their holographic platforms or whatever it is that they're on. Alright, yeah, let's press that button there and we'll just generate some clouds and play with this person. That's the thing, I was thinking to myself, maybe it is simply just a case of, if you build it, they will come, you know? Like, I put stuff out for the birds, and the birds started coming. And I was, like, really interested in the magpie, and the magpie started hanging around. And then it started visiting, you know, kind of like waking me up every morning and hanging out on the tree opposite, almost trying to look into my window type of thing. I'm trying to encourage it to come in, but then I realised if it came in, it would probably shit everywhere. And I don't really bird shit everywhere, so. There's a dehydration feeling. That a little pain in my temples and in my brain, the sides of my head. It's as if I feel like I took my medication yesterday, but I didn't. So it's the same thing as doing a stimulus. If you're doing a stimulant, and obviously I've had a bit of experience in that place, in that way, and it's kind of like the next day, you know. Even if it's disgusting. It's not a nice feeling, and I haven't even done anything to warrant it this time, so it's not like I'm going out of my way to put any more toxins in my body, any more than I'm willing to. Look at that. I could just sit here and watch this. Now I've set this up, the extra panels and stuff, yeah, it's definitely added an extra interesting aspect that I can just get myself lost into. It's funny how that handle, the window handle at the moment today is kind of looking like a star or a Merkapar or something. And they're using it. They are literally using it. Sometimes I feel like they're giving me signals as well to say which version that they want. I think this is probably the best one. You get to see everything. And the sky panels link up rather than the edges of where the sky meet, you know. Rather than having the trees meet in the middle. I actually like having the trees on the edge and the sky bits meeting in the middle, and that actually is much better because then you can get more of a sense of that patterning. That is insane, isn't it? And then you look and you kind of see like this roundish bottom. Cloudy roundish bottom. Where is it? Here. Let's just come in. There's an object here. I don't envy you going into town, if I'm honest. I haven't actually left Camberwell now since Christmas. So I went home to visit my mum, and then when I came back, that was it. I literally have not gone anywhere else. So that's moving that way. Oh, there's something there. Here. It is kind of fun doing this, I have to say that. Glad it's taken me a long time, but I'm glad I've got this set up. You know. Is that for Christmas or just recently? I'm full of wind today. I apologise in advance if you hear anything. It's probably me. Oh, isn't that excellent? Look at that. I wasn't looking at the screen. I was looking at the telestrator, and it's not symmetrified like the main screen, so I didn't even notice how I've got this little corner here. Oh, it is kind of easier with the mouse, to be honest. Oops. There it is again. That thing's moved down even more, so. Okay. What the hell was that? What's that? Oh man. Yeah. I've actually said to my mum that if she wants to go away for Christmas with my stepdad and just do her own thing without having to do the standard bullshit, she can. So I said, I don't know how many years we can keep this up. We're doing the same thing every fucking day, every fucking year. It's the same old shit, and it's like, surely we're all fucking fed up and tired of it by now, you know? Like, how many years of Christmas can we put up with? And to consider that we have to spend our entire life celebrating this shit every year? Come on, there's something going on. Like, I don't want to have to keep doing it. Can't we opt out of this? You know, like, it's just so stressful for so many people. It becomes this deep obligation and expectation from others. It's like I've just said to my mum, just, if you want a break, do it. Don't worry about me. You know, I'm at that point now where I can really do without Christmas. So spending an extra day on my own in my home is not really going to make a blind bit of difference for me. So even if it's fucking Christmas, it doesn't matter. Right. No cards. Yeah, it's just the same shit all the time, isn't it? People just... I can't sit there in front of the TV. I don't want to sit there in front of the TV. I don't want to be in front of it. Like, you know, if that's what I have to do in order to spend time with my family, I'm starting to wonder if I want to spend time with my family at all. But the funny thing is, very recently, in fact, my mum took up yoga a few months earlier last year, and then recently she said to me she's booked to start a psychic meditation type class. And I'm like, whoa, that's amazing, because I've been deliberately going through this kind of self-healing thing and doing energy heat work, you know, getting to know energy healing and stuff. And I've been working on my mum as the primary candidate, and the idea is to help her in a way that where she can kind of come to her own workings out. It doesn't matter about waking up to the conspiracy theory. None of that's necessary. As long as she's kind of waking up to know that there's more to her life than cutting people's hair every day, I'm happy, and I think she needs it. She needed that boost, because I think she was really getting down. I think she said to me it's the first thing she hasn't looked forward to anything like this in so long, and I'm thinking, oh my god, all my work is starting to pay off. My mum seems to be going into a direction. I bought her I bought her lots of different things to kind of guide her a little bit, you know. So I bought her some oracle cards, really nice ones. Very, very, very her as well, kind of like this old-fashioned 1920s kind of old-fashioned kind of Art Deco type, you know, very image. The images, very interesting images, and she likes it. I've encouraged her. Then over Christmas, she was getting upset because my brother's having issues with his girlfriend, and they've just had a baby, but then she's become extremely possessive of the baby, and there are issues going on between them, and don't really know what that's all about. I'm trying to keep out of it, but it's caused a lot of emotional anguish for my mum, because she feels that, you know, that situation's putting her in a difficult thing. And so I just said, well, this is the perfect time to be looking at your bloody cards, Mum, you know? Like, how often do you look at your cards? Oh, not very, you know, not too often. I said, you should be doing this every day. I mean, I'm obviously not going to expect her to be doing it every day. It's not something she has done every day, but just trying to do things that really encourage her to, encourage her, basically. You know, it's not about waking her up so much. It's about helping her have a new lease of life, like how I'm having a new lease of life. It's really fucking difficult, but I don't know. The futility isn't as futile as it once was. You know, I feel reassured to a degree that something is happening and things will change. And then I see it in the world around me, especially with, you know, family and friends, where they seem to be exhibiting signs of being awake, where they're more skeptical of the mainstream, or they're just, you know, interested in improving themselves and looking at what they can do, and that's wonderful. You know, I realise now it's not about yeah, conspiracy theories and stuff. Yeah, it's probably the best way to do it, because you know, if you can get past the shock factor and really stick your head into these crazy ideas and theories, then you reduce the chances of being fucked up if anything fucked up does happen, right? And so I just do it because I want to expand my mind and prepare, like, energetically and mentally for this, because I think that's going to be the hardest thing, the psychological stuff, the psychological. Oh god, I need to take a deep puff of this. The psychological shit's the hardest, because it is all psychological as well. It's like almost like our eyes need to somehow connect to an aspect of our brain that somehow has been shut off, or there's a blockage in the way, and now we're accessing our third eye and accessing our internal shit. You know, the funny thing is, I've realised as well, because I was a Remainer at one point. I don't even want to identify with any of those fucking labels, to be quite honest. They're fucking awful, but I did vote Remain because I was under the impression that, you know what, if we're all fucked, then we may as well all be in it together. I wonder if I can twist it round. I think it's a bit too far out of the it's unusually brighter today as well. And then you get those grey days like yesterday, and you're thinking, well, where was the sun yesterday? If that bright thing was in the sky yesterday, how the fuck did we have such grey clouds, you know? What was that all about? It doesn't make sense. That thing should be burning through the clouds at that level of brightness, you know? And then there are days where it doesn't look like there's a sunrise at all. Just a murky grey all day. Almost as if the sun now has a completely different schedule, and it's not a daily thing, it's every other day or every 2 or 3 days. You know, you see the sun comes up maybe for a day or two, and then it will go back to the sun machine had a malfunction, maybe? It's a possibility. Hang on. Oh, look at that. Notice right now all of the details disappearing, all of the detail. So there's something happening right now at this moment. Right at this moment. Let me get rid of this telestrator. All of the details going away. Why is that? What is this? It's those moments. Yep. It's almost like they've gone, alright, we're going to bring the shutters down now. They've got some kind of weird shutter system. And then all you can see is this murky silhouettes and random colours. Yeah. There's definitely some kind of sky barrier, I'm certain of it. Some kind of shield or something that comes down and just... And there's a lot of noise right now, you know. That to me suggests some kind of mechanism or... Ooh. I've moved the camera as close by as possible, but then I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, hey, look. Is that like a... What is that? Let's go to normal. Wrong one. Let's bring the camera down. I guess that is the most interesting part of the sky at the moment, seeing as the rest of it's decided to turn into grey mush. Well, that'll be the end of cloud therapy for this afternoon then, or this morning. At least I've got some in. Is it that dark patch there? There's like a dark patch and then there's another piece of light. What's that about? Almost as bright as the sun. I mean, I would zoom in, but it's a crap zoom. It's not gonna. Well, maybe a little bit. I wish I didn't have that overhang there. It's been the bane of my existence. I've got a line coming through. Something's good. Ooh. I wonder if today will be the day of the solar flash. Who knows? Is that a dark line? Why is there a dark line suddenly? Where does that come from? Because some of these lines just appear out of nowhere. It doesn't even look like they're being drawn by a plane or anything. They just suddenly, miraculously fade in. Thank you for visiting me. I really appreciate it. I've been trying to keep up with people. I'm not very good at watching other people's videos or keeping up on top of it. But I do. There's a few people like you and My Sky's 5D where I try to make an effort. I wish I had better view, but you do the best with what you got, you know. I mean, I shouldn't complain too much. At least I've got a window. But yeah, it's amazing. All of the detail's gone out of the sky. It's now turned to grey mush. I don't know if we're meant to be expecting a weather front of some kind. It's meant to be sunny and cloudy all the way up until midday. It's very mild for February. I really appreciate it, Jax. Very much. It's nice to thank you. Yeah. The days where I don't do it, there's a couple of days, like, I'm either having a really hard day emotionally, like real purging stuff happening, or it's just that it's a whiteout, you know. You know, there's horrible cloudy days where that horrible white reflective light, but then nothing. It's just so something's happening. Something, either a weather front or something's going on, or the barrier. I do honestly wonder about the barrier, if there's a barrier there, because it's like sometimes those formations are so clear, and then there are other days when they've. And I don't believe chemtrails create that level of, oh look, well, you can see an object coming in clearly here. This is why clouds are much better than no clouds. It's just that chemtrails are not so good. But you can see the shadow, the silhouette of an object moving in. I mean, it's so obvious at this point, you know. But I guess if people are looking, well, A, most people aren't looking. B, it's too bright, too reflective, there's no way anyone's going to see stuff with their naked eye with this level of brightness. You know, I mean, the amount of adjustments I have to do to get it like this. You know, you have to bring the settings right down to the limit, and then it starts creating a very unreal piece of footage because nothing looks right. And then you realise, well, the sky is a little bit fucked up these days, so of course it's not going to look right. Yeah, it isn't. There's just no way. I'm going to have to bring that back up. That is very interesting. Look at that! What's that? So some strange cloud is descending, literally descending. It's not often you see clouds descending now, is it? And this is the thing that I don't think people even think about. They're meant to... The point of clouds as they go up, that's water vapour, right? The water cycle. And then you've got this huge grey cloud coming down now. Obviously, it's not a cloud. It's associated with some kind of cloak technology. So, at this point, I'm pretty certain of it. I can move it back around a little bit now. I have moved it back around a little bit. Just swivel a little bit more. Oh, maybe I did need to swivel it a little bit. Maybe I went a bit too far. Yeah, that's a little better. Right. Yep. And sometimes inverting it, like I've just done now. It's insane. The level of... I mean, we're not getting so much detail, but actually, why would they want us to see this detail? Look at this. It's like a machine opening up and doing it. I mean, that's why I do this, because it's like, well, if a quarter of it's correct, and then you duplicate it, you end up seeing other parts of it. And I believe a lot of these things will have some kind of sacred geometry design anyway, so it would make sense to an extent. And then you see this movement, and you realise this is obviously some kind of advanced, extremely advanced technology, or an energetic being, or something that's just so unbelievably unearthly, unhuman. I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's certainly it's just different, you know, very different, too different, and so it's freaking people out. I mean, I don't think most people realise what's going on. The fact that the clouds in the sky seem to be very aware and conscious of themselves and whoever's watching, and then they start creating these patterns. At the moment it's like this because something happened just now where the sky started becoming very blurry. I'm just letting TJ know. The sky started to become very blurry, as if some kind of panel or barrier went over it, and then it's almost like it blurs things and greys things out. So then it loses detail. So I mean, I've actually turned the additional sharpness filter on, and that's why you end up getting something like this, where I love it because it really does change, give you a sense of depth as well. But it would be better if there wasn't this strange grey obscuration going on. And I've noticed it many times now, where something is obviously reducing visibility, and literally within how many minutes? Was it a few minutes? Within space of a few minutes, it went from very obvious, clear, definitive shapes to this kind of murky, creamy, milky bullshit. Jax is over in London as well, so she's getting her view, and I think that's the wonderful thing, actually, because we're both in the same city and we're both looking at it at the same time. It's like we can swap notes and actually, you know, depending on what direction the wind's blowing in, give each other a heads up. So what I've done is I've pulled the gamma quite high or low, whatever you want to do, so it's darker, because that's the only way that you can see half of the stuff, because of all that light. but you can definitely see by doing that you then notice all of the additional light changes. So if there's a pulse from the sun or flickering or anything like that, it picks up on it easier because it's darker. I mean, that's the thing, there's so many flashes and blinks and what have you going on with all this light, but because it's so bright, we're not able to detect it, you know? Right. I don't like it when the cloud detail goes away. It really upsets me. I'm thinking to myself, my friends, come on. I always think of them as my friends. I'm not a demon. I'm not a sky demon person. In fact, I find it quite insulting, and I think they're pissed off about it as well. It's like, no, well, I don't think they're pissed off about it. It's like, you know, I think you're beyond pissed off when you're at that level of intelligence, but demon hunter guy, my god. Really, I don't like his direction. I mean, yes, he's made a really good observation with these machines and craft and whatever going on up there, but he's really taken it into a strange direction that does not resonate with me at all. And it's like, you're a Christian, and in the Revelations it says they are coming on the clouds. You know, the people that are bringing about the end, they're the angels or whatever they are. You know, that's why I'm looking up in the sky, right? That's with divine intervention is meant to come from above or something. So that's why we would look up, I suppose. So then to then see a Christian turning around and saying, "Oh my God, sky demons coming to get you," you know, those sky demons. Oh. And it's like, fuck off. If they were so demonic, they'd be doing a lot more than just floating around up there creating geometric patterns, you know? I mean, they'd be coming down and interfering with our lives. You know, I think there are beings up there who genuinely just up there. Light beings and cloud beings and things like that. I'm totally fucking insane at this point. I kind of do feel like going to the NHS and just telling them all this anyway. I haven't said a single word to them since my awakening, so it's kind of like, and I realised when I woke up, well, it's been a long time, but like 2017 was this major activation period. And around that time I was kind of trying to get support and help with the mental health stuff again for the umpteenth time, but it was like a struggle. It was like fighting for it, and I'm thinking to myself, why am I fighting for support? It's like it's like, why am I fighting for this? It shouldn't be stressful to ask for help. And it's almost like it's designed to piss you off. It's designed to make you more ill because you're forced to sit around on a waiting list for 18 months until something happens, and in that time you're meant to suffer. It's insane. It's always best when looking at the sky to try and look at it with as many views and perspectives as possible. But I don't see it in the same way as the sky does. We're kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum there. So it's like, I don't like the demon thing. It's like you focus on demons, you're going to bring demons, you know? So good luck with that. You know, I don't fancy your chances in, as things turn crazier and crazier, you're going to descend more into fear and hatred. And that's what you get when you watch these guys, you know? Right. Yeah. It's almost as if you have to exhibit a certain something for them to think, okay, this person's a problem. We need to put them in a ward or something. But you know, when you're depressed and anxious, you're not going to want to leave the house, so they don't need to do anything about you. That's what I'm looking for, dragons and angels. Because I like dragons so much, I've realised that I can't turn around and say I dislike reptilians or beings like that, because actually, you know what? If they are highly evolved beings, the likelihood is they're not going to be quite like humans, you know? They're not going to have those distortions or those strange views of things. You know, I would imagine a being that's had longer to develop and more time to grow spiritually, energetically, physically, whatever. It's not going to have those issues anymore. Dragons. Dragons. Oh. I'd love. Do you know what? I found this lovely painting lady. I'm going to get the link and I'm going to post it. It was inspiring. She's done some amazing work. And there's one called The Messenger. Copy link. I'm just going to post it anyway. If you get a chance, have a look at it sometime. She's just one of these artists. It's like, okay, I can get on board with this, I suppose. So you go, she's maybe Buddhist, perhaps, or something like that. She seems very calm, very serene. And then you've got this Christian woman commenting, "You gotta be careful with those spirits, you know, you don't know which spirits you're working with. If you're an artist, they'll come to you and they'll manipulate you and blah blah blah." I am a rooster. Rooster. Punky rooster. So yeah, this sky's changing quite dramatically. I'm quite astonished actually. I just wish some of that murk would go away, you know. Maybe if we had the intention to push that murkiness out of the way. Let me think now. The highest and best, I ask with intention and love that we clear the sky of anything that is not natural, organic to the sky, for any of that to dissipate and to clear a little bit so we can see more. I would be really grateful. And I'll Kundalini Reiki that shit as well. So Kundalini Reiki on the sky and the sun. I'm just going to send that out there. I need to take my flip-flops off and put my feet on the floor. Okay, I've done that. Light from below, from Gaia, coming up through the chakras, intersecting with the light from above, from the source, coming down, meeting the light from Gaia, and then they intertwine with each other and create a multi-cellular helix, multiple-stranded helix, and then they go through all of my chakras, activating each one. Bing, 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 bing. I think that's 7. Maybe an extra bing just in case. Bing. That'll be my higher self chakra too, the one just above the crown. And then now that I'm activated, ooh, I can feel that energy right now. So I'm going to send that energy up to the sky. Please go to the sky. And help the sky to clear itself. And move some of that shit out of the way. Abracadabra. Amen Ra. Hopefully to the of grey coming in from the west. Looks good. Oh gosh, no. No! Not you away. We've got this nice little blue streak coming in. I would like to get back into painting again. But yeah, watching this lady in that link paint, she's it's like time-lapse. There's definitely an object there. Like those clouds give it away as well. I mean, look at them. They're hanging off the edge of an object. It's like, come on guys, you know that that's part of something. And when you notice how they move in unison, not, you know, as if they're all part of the same complex. That's weird, you know. There we go. So the super messy version. I've increased the contrast to 60, so it starts making it look quite dirty, unfortunately, but it is a lot more detail. And you start seeing these straight lines, and then you've got these oh look at that, a few chemtrails there, right? Well, I don't think those are chemtrails anymore. I think those are the edges of something that's suddenly come in and dipped into our atmosphere. You know what? I think everybody is an artist. We're all artists. It's just a case of finding the medium that works for you. Creativity comes out all the time in everything we do. We just need to be more present with ourselves when we're doing things, and suddenly stuff happens. I mean, even when I had an office job. You notice how it's clearing, by the way? I had an office job, and even in that I found ways to be creative. I mean, I hated it, but it was like, oh okay, well what I'll do then is I'll upgrade this organisation system we've got going on here, and we'll make it, you know, electronic databases and stuff like that. You know, just an Excel spreadsheet basically. You know, because they weren't doing it. They weren't. This is the court system I was working for. And it was like there was a certain procedures they had within the admin office that were just really poor. It was just like it's a make-do type of scenario, right? But then they were having all of these people who were being convicted or basically going through getting charges and convictions without even knowing about it. They call it a Section 142. So if somebody ends up getting a fine or something from the courts, and they don't even know about it, they weren't even aware that there were any court proceedings in the first place, you have the right to go to the court and say, well, I wasn't aware of it. I didn't receive any notification or anything. So, you know, I'd like you to reopen it under Section 142. Or a statutory declaration. Those are the two ways you can do it. And what will happen is they reopen the case under a new case number, and then they'll hear it again, and likelihood is they'll end up dropping it because you're able to attend or whatever. But yeah, it's they didn't keep track of those. Yeah, and then there was no database, nothing. It was just like, right, you get convicted automatically, and then basically if you then, the only way you can do anything about it is once you get told of the conviction, and then you have to go, okay, well now I have to go through a process of applying to have that conviction overturned or reopened so the case can be heard correctly with me being there, you know. But usually what they'll do is they'll just do it without the person there, you know. The idea being that we've sent out notifications, if you don't turn up, we go ahead anyway, and you just have to find out afterwards. And that's pretty much the court's attitude to things. You know, when I was working for them, it was a very toxic environment. Some really there was a few nice people there, but there were a few people who were just not nice at all. You know, real bullies. And that's why I ended up having a breakdown and eventually resigning, and yeah, because this woman basically harassed and bullied me, targeted me, monitored me, wrote down all the times I was coming and going from my desk, even though we were equals, you know. She was not above me or anything. We literally started our jobs within about a month of each other. We were both on the same pay grade. We both had about the same level of experience within that job. So she was in no position of authority over me, yet she was acting as if she was. And that was one of the issues I had. And she was making saying all kinds of things about me behind my back, and making complaints about me, and all of this, trying to get me into trouble as much as she could, just because I had different ways of doing things. But then she would go off on her little jollies for God knows how long, wandering around the courts, talking to magistrates, talking to the court clerks, basically the state, basically they're like lawyers, but they're the ones that sit at the front, in front of the magistrates, and actually do all the writing and the notes and stuff. They're the ones that really advise the magistrates, and they're the ones with the power, quite frankly. So just court their solicitors, basically. Sorry, I've just got lost in my own kind of shit there. Yeah, mate. Drums, keyboard, any music is art. Art is music. It's all creativity, and it's, as long as you've got an outlet, it keeps you relatively sane. It's the saving grace of being a nutcase, Like, when all else fails, just be creative, and those periods of meditative creativity. Look at that up there, right in that little window there. That strange shape floating by in the background, and it's going in the opposite direction as well. Come on, guys, clear it up. What's going on? Oh, magpie's calling. Oh, she was a horrific person, by the way. Just a really horrible person. And I'm not racist in any way, but she was black, and she had a big old chip on her shoulder. Real issue. Something. She was. I don't know. She just struck. She was nice sometimes, but then she just had this constant bitterness and evil to her. That was just like, she hated everyone. She thought everyone was below her. She treated everyone as if they were fucking idiots. No one was good enough. No one was intelligent enough. Nobody was efficient enough. And it's like, and then she pretended she was all efficient, right? But then what it would be is that she would just do fuck all most of the day, and then work late in the evening to get the work done. And everyone go, oh, Marjorie, she's so good at her job. She gets all of her stuff done in one day, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, because she was prepared to waste time hanging around in her job for hours after she was meant to leave in the first place. She was a horrible person. I mean, I don't know, there was just something about her that she sounded like she was just so bitter and hateful. And I think I'm wondering if she was going through some kind of awakening process, perhaps, because she basically had this thing of, oh, I go home at the weekend, I lock my door, and I don't open it again until Monday when I come into work, type of thing. Go home, lock myself away. So maybe she just had a total aversion to being around humans, but I can get that, because I don't really have... I've developed a major aversion to being around people, for the most part. Look at this, look how dark it is, but maybe I just need to turn it down a bit. See, all the detail is gone. It then becomes this, it's like posterized or something, because it shouldn't be like that, but it's not the camera, it's the sky. Look at this, look at that thing floating around. Can you see that, like a fairy or something? Did you see that? Wow. That was weird. There's been a lot of weird things going on. Oh, today's going to be an interesting day, I think. Sky-wise. As long as it keeps moving, and it's not, you know, it's not going to end up being, yeah. And then you've got this blue patch here. And I'm thinking, why is there a big blue patch? I've got the sharpness on quite high at the moment, so you'll see, so you end up seeing like a, almost everything will have like a kind of a glow to it. I don't know why it does that, but it does add like a kind of a depth to it. So now I've got up to maximum. That makes more sense to me, you know. I put it back to normal, and it's like, what is that? All of the shadow's been taken out, all of the details. You can't see anything because of all the light. But then I move it up to what, 88 or something, 84, and then you realise, okay, so the light, it's also the light and how that light's being reflected as well. And then you think, okay, and now I've changed it and it's kind of adjusted it in such a way it really gives some depth to it too. Yep, glowing weird things, definitely. And they'll have some strange shapes to them as well. They're almost like they're there but they're not there. Anyway, let's go back to, there you go. Yeah. Oh no, I'm not that. This way. See how it changes? So that kind of creates like a face. Oh look, see that huge round thing? What's that one? I'm feeling extra gabby today. It's quite unusual for me. It's been really quiet recently, and then the last couple of days I feel like I can't stop talking. It's kind of like artificial depth, because it seems to, it's almost like it emphasizes the shadows and the light in such a way that it actually adds a kind of depth to it, so then you're seeing what it really is, or see, at least it gives it a sense where you can actually start identifying, particularly when it starts turning murky. But this is the kind of stuff that, these clouds are the kind that we don't want, because they're a little bit too grey, a little bit too murky, no detail, and that's how they want it. You know, when you've got some blue and white clouds, you know, I love clouds. I think they're fucking fantastic. I prefer a sky with clouds than a totally blue sky. As long as there are clouds around, we can see what we want, what we need to see. Clouds give things away. At the moment there's no clouds, or it's just total blanket. It's not helpful to us. Right. Yes. Oh, it's the Wednesday fire alarm drill test thing. So they'll just go on for about a minute. Good thing I was up. Those clear blue skies are strangest time, yeah. It's all coming over. There's definitely something going on now more than there was last year or the year before. Oh, please turn it off. I'll stick my head out there and the caretaker will be just standing there like a lemon. Oh, I'm just going to see who sticks their head out. Come on, you bastard, turn it off. Thank you. I love dementia. Yep.
Take a break. I love dementia.
I've seen some really. Yep. Me too. And it's more often. It's almost regular now. It's getting to that point where the incredible stuff is becoming the norm, and it's fantastic. I love it. It's gotta go crazy. It's gonna. I always get the feeling that whoever the beings behind it, because I do feel that there's a few, they're playing a game of let's see how much we can reveal without and get away with, whilst we're having to hover here and watch everyone and not do anything. You know, it's kind of like can't really do anything right now, but what we can do is play around with the sky and do stuff in such a way. There we go. It's, yeah, just do a lot of breathing. I actually wander around now with binaural beats in my ears if I ever leave the house, so I can try and be in a state of meditation wherever I'm walking. It's really hard though, because the moment I step out of the house I feel like I'm being rushed at by everything, and it's like, oh, you know, the moment you step out, all eyes are on you, all awareness is on you. You're like, you feel like you can't walk down the street without this feeling that you're being watched, and it's really oppressive. You know, it makes it very difficult to be outside and around people. Oh, thank you very much for stopping by. If it gets really grey and stuff, I'll be stopping the feed anyway, and I'll distract myself until the sky improves. Thank you guys for stopping by. I really appreciate it. It's lovely to talk to you both. I've needed to talk, so it's appreciated to have people listening. I would just talk to myself anyway, but right. Yep. I'd have to know which ones to be doing in the first place. I think Christians have been opening up portals and doorways for heals too without realising it. Any kind of religious worship is designed to do that, right? It's concentrated focus. Concentrated focus on the deity of your choice opens up a gateway and portal to that reality or dimension, and then all kinds of craziness can happen. It might even be about merging and bringing these things as parallel, you know, bringing one world on top of another. Well, I was like wondering, so you know those John Martin paintings where it looks like the destruction of Herculaneum and Pompeii and the other ones, where it looks like we're inside rather than outside, and actually the sky is falling, you know, like a giant cave system or something. And then I'm wondering if the resets are a case of destabilizing the world above to bring it down on top of the world below. And if that's the case, maybe it is literally land and water falling through and landing on the world below it, and therefore you end up getting deluge and mud flood. It's a possibility. I'm just trying to put ideas out there, but that's what I'm wondering. If we are in a series of different worlds, like Russian dolls, you know, worlds around worlds. Maybe us firing stuff at the sky is about trying to bring down the new world on top of the old world. Right, the Kaaba. Well, rumor has it that the idea is that the Muslims have access to Gabriel's Ark, which is like another version of it's like another Ark of the Covenant type deal. And so the one in the Kaaba is while they're running around doing it. It's supposed to be the Archangel Gabriel's thing or something. Right, land dropping. Yeah, it makes sense. If these huge islands or things suddenly started falling down in various locations, it could explain a lot. You know, if it's a case of we're eggshells, worlds within other worlds, different scales of reality, maybe that's where a lot of the people came from, the survivors. We were looking at Portsmouth and realising Portsmouth is a star fort. Because it's all on reclaimed land, and then you look at the shape of it, you think, fuck yeah, it's fucking a star fort. And then you've got all those other forts as well, like Spitbank Fort in the water. And thinking, well, is that like did that used to be a mobile fort of some kind, like a mobile star fort? Was that maybe a node in the star fort, and actually the star fort crossed the English Channel and crossed the Solent? So basically the Isle of Wight and Portsmouth were connected by a land bridge and maybe possibly even the Star Fort. And those Spitbank Fort and those other forts left in the sea are the remnants of it. Because like Ryde Beach, for instance, it's literally flat. You can walk along it for a mile and the water will still remain ankle, thigh deep at most. And you're like walking halfway across the Solent, closer to Portsmouth. It's very obvious that there's some kind of flat, distinct thing there, and the sand obviously has come from somewhere else. You know, that sand's collected or silt or whatever. I'm thinking, well, maybe there was a star fort there at some stage. And then there was an inundation, mud flood, which is now buried a lot of it. And now, because we have the Solent there, we just think it's a sea, but actually it's a relatively shallow sea that has just basically covered over a load of sand which buried the original stuff in the first place. And then you look at the coastline of a lot of places and you realise that most coastlines are literally star fortage. It's not organic, is it, to find a straight line in nature? You know, and when you see it in the clouds, yeah, that's really suspect. Because I mean, water doesn't tend to. It will fit whatever container it's in. And it will have a flat surface, but it's not necessarily. I don't think it's meant to form rectangular edges and rectangular clouds and weird things like that. So that's not normal. That's not what I would say. That's why I no longer believe standard models, mainstream ideas about clouds and water cycles and water vapor. I think maybe that's a part of it, but I don't think it doesn't explain the rest of it. It explains a very small fraction of what we're seeing. But some of this stuff is very thick clouds, and it doesn't make sense that those clouds would get so thick. If they were that thick, they should be descending with the weight, and as they're descending they should be dissipating, so there's a bunch of physics and stuff going on which isn't being adhered to by what we're seeing, so we have to then assume that there is something else happening. What around us is not what we think it is. And then we've basically just had a society that just explains everything away with these simple, apparently scientific explanations, but that's how they explain shit away. Oh, right, okay. That's right. Oh, okay then. Maybe there isn't cloud beings after all. Fuck that. Right. I'm sure you guys have got things to do or whatever, so I'm going to be hanging around a bit for a little bit longer, but I'm going to get a cup of tea. I know that you need to go do your stuff, Jack, so I'm not going to keep you, but I'm going to go put the kettle on. I'll be back hanging around until the sky goes completely grey, which may not be too long now. Maybe I'll talk. Usually the kettle's too loud, it'll just a nice cup of tea. Take care, honey. Have a lovely day. Good luck with going into town. Send you some Kundalini Reiki. Kundalini Reiki to Jack's dreaming. May she have a lovely, wonderful day and feel better soon. Take care. Abracadabra. Wonderful healing day. Wonder, exposure, lots of joy. Take lots of photos of mud floods, mud flood buildings. London's full of them. As you know. Hey, no worries, TJ. Look, thank you for stopping by. I'll be here as per usual. I'm on Discord as well, so if you ever want to get in touch or anything, there's links in the description. I'm also on. There's a guy called Andreas Zertis. He's been doing a lot of videos on Mudflood recently. He set up a Discord chat room too. And so I joined his server and got chatting to him, and he's a really cool guy. I really like him. He's a nice guy. Been chatting to him for the last couple of days. Totally recommend. Cup of tea time. Tea break. Oops. Get some honey. So I've had to resort to sugar. I usually take honey in my tea, but I ran out. The last couple of days I've been using sugar, and I don't think, and I think I'm noticing its effect on me. I think that might explain some of the headaches and stuff I've been getting in the morning, and the dehydration. I have to get some shoes and socks on and go outside and feed the birdies. And I'm going to have to check the feeding station because it looks like the pigeons have fucked it up. The greedy shits. They knocked something. I don't know how they did it. It's like there's like a feeding mesh tray thing that slots in, and it's like, how the hell did they end up knocking it out? Because it's just weird, man. Unless the squirrels did it. Oh, little robin. It's gonna... Oh wow, that's a great tit. That's a big one. Oh, they're all out. All of the birdies are out and they're feeding. There's a robin on the tree. He's over by the coconut. And you've got the great tit, and he's loving it because he loves the seeds. Oh, he's loving it. And they literally dip their head in the seed and they keep pulling them out until they find the one that they want. The peanuts are out. Oh wow, okay. So I need to replace the suet fat balls. Peanuts are fine, I guess. You're spoiled for choice, my little friend. And you've got the suet. What's that one? Oh, I've never seen one like that before. It's black and white and silver. It's got like stripes on it. I've never seen that before. So there's a great tit and a blue tit. And I'm gonna have to have a look at my guide and see what that was. Where is it? It's laying around here somewhere. Where's my birdie going? I knew there were some new birds around. I thought I could hear them. So you know, if you listen enough, you notice the new song that's joined the fray. I was like paying more attention to it. Paying more attention to it this year, particularly as I started feeding the birds. I've noticed it a lot more as well. Oh, what do I do with that piece of paper guide thing? It's really helpful. I've seen one like that before. Nuthatch. I think the nuthatch. It looks like a nuthatch. Oh, there's more here. Great spotted woodpecker. I've seen one of those already. The woodpecker comes around now and again. But it wasn't that. The long-tailed tit. Easily recognised for its tail is longer than its body. It has small bodies of what looks like black and white plumage, but at close inspection they're pinkish. I'm not sure if it was that one. You know what? I don't think there's anything. A dunnock. Grey colour, but the younger birds seem to be more brown and striped. No. You look more like a long-tailed tit. That's the closest one I can find on this guide. Oh my goodness, there was a... We're definitely attracting some very interesting beings here anyway, and the robins love it. I've seen there's a lot of robins around. Definitely noticed an improvement. Well, actually, some people have commented to me already. Some neighbours have said to me they've noticed what it's like when the birds are coming in, and we're getting all these different breeds of birds flying into the garden. And it's almost as if with it comes this beautiful energy, and it's uplifting everybody who sees it. So I feel like I'm doing a good thing. I hope I'm doing a good thing. I do think it is good for them. I do think it is helping them. They have been struggling a little bit, I think. The blue tits have loved it. It's so nice to see all these birdies coming and going. I mean, the pigeons themselves, they take advantage of it, and they kind of abuse the feeding station a little bit. They like to fly up into the water bowl and use the water bowl as a level that they can stand on, so they can access some of the bird feeding things. And it's like, well, you're a ground feeding bird. Stop. Stop being so greedy. You don't have to ruin it for all the other birds, And they do. They make the water dirty. They shit in the fucking. They take a shit in the food tray. It's not nice. So I mean, sometimes I give it a couple of days in between going out to feed them, because I want to make sure that the pigeons aren't roaming around all the time. The poor blackbirds and all the other birds can't access it when the pigeons are going crazy around it. They're so big by comparison. It's like a pigeon's all like stupid and idiotic and decides to start flapping its wings just as a blue tit would come along or something, and it's like, well, you're scaring the other birds away with your stupid fat body and fluttering around all the time, like. So yep, I'm not going down yet. I'll have a cup of tea. I've got a feeling of I kind of feel like I spent yesterday doing it's like my body and my mind and my head feels like I spent all day yesterday doing some kind of stimulant or something, but I'm not taking my ADHD medication, so there's no reason for me to have these sensations and these bodily feelings. Maybe I'm not drinking enough liquids. You like hot tea? So also the other thing is watching these birds. When I watch the blackbird, they're so cute. They literally wander around, literally turning individual leaves over, like, flicking things to one side, checking underneath them. And they have such lovely song. Apparently, I don't know if they what is it? Do they go quiet once they pair up or something? They don't sing the same song once they've actually met their life partner, so I'm hoping I'll hear the overhear bird this year, which I've since discovered was possibly one of the blackbirds. And if it is one of the blackbirds, then I don't know if it's going to do that again, particularly if it's met a mate. So we'll see. maybe there is a time of year where they have to sing anyway, and I don't know. I do feel a bit sorry for the birds at the moment because I haven't been out for a few days. I mean, but there's been plenty of food in the bird feeders, but I need to change the water now, and I think maybe refill a couple of bits here and there. There's still plenty of peanuts, so I'm going to leave those for a bit longer. The seed thing, I'm thinking I might redo the seed thing, because it's like every time the blue tick goes in there, it's like it dips its head in, and then it's pulling out all of these different seeds, like almost as if it's saying nope, 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 nope. Ah, I got one. Yep, got that. Oh, is that one again? Have a look. Oh god, I'm also feeling I feel knackered, exhausted. How did that happen? Yeah, that water bowl's fucking disgusting. Look at the state of it. Doesn't seem to be any way of preventing that. After a day or two, it just gets extremely dirty. And it makes me feel sorry for the birds, because then they're not going to be able to use it. And you know what makes it dirty? It's these, hang on, what are these? Are these blackbirds? Oh no, I think are they thrush? They have a slightly longer, more pointy body. And they're more brown. They could just be passing through. Chaffinch? No, it's a bit more boring than that. They could be sparrows, actually. Or a wren. Huh. Birdie laugh. I love hearing birds laugh. It's one of the most joyous things I ever hear. One of them. That's it. There's just nothing but joy when you hear a bird laughing. Absolute, total joy. No shadow, just a cute birdie. Cute birdie, singing songs and laughing. It's just the epitome of innocence. Laughter and joy. And a bird. I just can't believe people fucking shoot them, you know? Like, there was this time when my stepdad decided that he wanted a BB gun, yeah. And then one day while I was visiting, he shot a freaking pigeon, wood pigeon. He shot it right there and then. It was fucking awful. There it was, fluttering around, all, you know, spasming and stuff. It was horrible, really horrible. They might be pests, but it feels wrong to shoot them. You know, just because they're a bit annoying, a little bit pest-like, doesn't mean we have the right to kill these things. They have a right to live here just as much as we do. And it's actually us, it's like we complain, but we're the one creating the scenario for them to become reliant on us in the first place, you know? So, if anything, we should be shooting ourselves. Certainly not the pigeons. Get rid of the human, you know? It's not the pigeon that's the problem, it's the human that sees everything other than itself as a problem. What's going on with the sky right now? All changes, all shifts. Two and a half hours. Water Dragon is live. When? You're not live. Are you live? You weren't live. Oh, you're live. Are you live? Magpie! Come on, Magpie, where are you? Where have you been? I've missed you. Maybe you don't need to worry about food right now. Oh, look at that. Oh, lightship approaching. cloud chips, cloud chips.
So, joining with the angels of heaven this afternoon to discuss oneness truth with the findings of something classic that's been created between your knowledge and your opinions. Stitched together, sealed with gold, reflected upon, found in the heart, the heartache and the heartbreak, that are forward through your intuition, the logic, and the heart's actions. Until then, vice versa, or the other. So, many of you are going through difficulties, just don't despair. It's very common.
Birdies! Oh, yay, birdie. Pigeons. What kind of birds are they? They'll be going around in a circle until they've collected all the birds, and then they fly. There she is. It's Crackerjack, right on the top of that tree. Right on the top of the middle tree, that's Crackerjack. I can tell because she has this continuous, almost like it's kind of like some kind of bird Tourette's or something, you know. And she keeps squeaking all the time. What the fuck is that shit? Come on, man. It's a park. And there she is up there. She's my favourite bird. I call her a she. I don't know if it is a she though, but it could. So I think magpies have now become my favourite type of bird. Let's see if it is my Crackerjack. Crackerjack. Is that you? Yes, it is you. Hey. I recognise your chubby haunches anywhere. Love you, Crackerjack. Yeah, that's what gives her away. The continuous, almost like ticks or squeaking that she does. She's quite vocal. She's quite a vocal bird. I think magpies are actually quite vocal birds generally, and I mean, I'm only just getting to know her, so hey, I'm sorry if I've neglected you recently. I didn't mean to. Who knows, maybe some people have set up some bird feeders in other parts of this area, you know, you never know. I don't think there are though. The bird feeders in the park are completely empty. They haven't been refilled or anything in a long time. I wonder what he was very he seemed very huh. Platinum blonde. Yeah. Where are you, my darling? Where are you? Where are you, sweetheart? I miss you. Oh, my poor little magpie. Crackerjack. I wish I thought of a better name now, but I like the name Crackerjack. It sounds a bit silly, but whew. I don't know if it's this really horrible white light that's causing my eyes to water if I'm just feeling really sensitive at the moment. But I have been feeling quite emotional and struggling recently. So just a bit weepy at the moment. Just got to keep on living. It's about posterity. It's not about viewers. It's not about likes, shares, subscribes, or anything like that. You know, I just put that down in the thing because it said it was a good thing to do. So I was like, okay, then I'll encourage people to like, share, and subscribe. Then, but I don't give a shit about that, really. In fact, to be honest, if I had too much of an audience, I'd become really self-conscious and I'll go quiet, you know. I just feel really embarrassed. But if I talk to myself on the camera as if I'm literally just talking to myself and I just pretend that nobody's watching, and if they do happen to be watching, then fair enough. But yeah, just it's more about posterity than anything. I don't even know if I'll ever rewatch any of these things, but part of me feels like I'm making videos to go over when I'm old and grey and dying on my deathbed. You know. Aww. I'll try and refill everything up soon, okay guys? I do have my mix ready to bring out with me. I just have to force myself to get out of my pajamas and out into the garden. Well, there's one of them there. You see like this neck bit there, and then it goes out that way, and it goes out that way, and then there's a cloud literally coming down or moving along out of fucking nowhere. That seemed to come from. So they just flick that on. Okay, so my organs are... Look at that! Oh my god, goodness! There's me looking outside all this time. Oh, it's a shame that my feet didn't last too long.
So this morning, when I bit up
Oh my, look at that! Giant hexagon, giant hexagon! Oh, look at this. Come on, man. Really? Even without all of that, you can still see it. Thank you for the clarity. It's a little bit better. Now the gamma. Now the brightness. Why would it be so dark? It doesn't make any sense. The sun's already gone round now, so there shouldn't be any direct light. Man, I feel like I'm in pain, you know. I should have. Oh, I need some painkillers. I'm getting a headache. There should have been some. What was I need? saves, so wait. Oh. Because I've been crying so much. Ah. Nuts. Regardless, but I have no choice. I've got to calm this down somewhere. Oh man, I can't keep up with it.
2 miles of ice?
Oh, my head hurts so much. Oh, my head is hurting.
So I only have a quick video explaining light, shadow, the terminator lines, and calculating exactly the spot value of the table. Efficient images, and you can see just what I'm doing for years, and we're discussing everything. The image that you can see there was taken from the command module. I think it was one of 12. The reason we give you such close access to the land we're not including this one is because it shows just the top right hand corner. You can see the
Oh,
there you go. Now we're just into the approach.
it's impossible because it's not even real, man.
Before anybody was looking for images.
All that bullshit that we have to fucking do because that's the way it is. There's a reason why.
So then we have a quick video explaining light, the shadow, the terminator line, and calculating exactly the spot and movement that is taken. All wonderful, all quite accurate as far as the geometry goes. So, as I said in my intro, I'm going to take a look at some official images. And you can see just what's been produced in years. Discussing and in this picture, you can see the depth is taken from the command line. The reason I've included this one is because it shows the just in the top right hand corner. You can see that. So
you took that shot.
there you go, and they're on just into the frame. Great shot. And just to be completely fair, before anybody was looking for images that back up my case, this was created a long time ago by moon landing conspiracy theorists, and I don't agree with it. Okay, this is a Photoshop image, and there is nothing apart from muddy the waters in such. So let's get real. And probably the most famous Earthrise picture of all from Apollo 11, looking out across the surface of the moon as Carl Sagan wrote, the small blue dot. So now I want to cover my side of the observations and bring your attention to that wonderful footage that the Japanese took Earthrise from the moon with this short video. We're going to stop and click here and get some so let's have a look at the Japanese footage. I'm sorry to stop it so quick. Are you kidding me? Unless all my books are on at school, we've got a room there that's larger than there. You might think, oh well, it's only a graphic, it's just to explain this. But this is not the first time this sort of graphic has been collected. Remember, this video has had millions of hits on YouTube, so people looking at this are not as wise as you, and I think the impression is a lot smaller than this. And if you think of it,
just take a look at this quick video from NASA Goddard Space Flight Promotion.
let's switch back to the Japanese video now that we've seen NASA seems to think that the moon is incredibly large compared to Earth. And I know in conditions which are required angle lenses, etc. To keep that distinct impression. It's the size of a marble, it's the size of the moon. The Japanese do exactly the same. I can't help but wonder this idea of dumbing down. People might have to start to believe.
So let's take another look at the Japanese version.
The reason I've included such a place like the land, mixed farming workshop in the kitchen. The reason I've included this one is because it shows the Earth just in the top right hand corner there. You can see that blue line that's been so there you go, and I'll move just into the workshop. And just to be completely fair before anybody
who fucking took it?
Images to back up my case. This was created a long time ago by moon landing conspiracy theorists, and I don't agree with it. Because this is a Photoshop image and does nothing apart from muddy the relatives and such. So let's get rid of it. And probably the most famous Earthrise picture from a couple of 11 was the surface so now I'm on to
Marble.
And bring your attention to that wonderful footage that the Japanese took of Earthrise from with this short video. But I'm going to stop the clip here and there so you can maybe ponder the same sort of observations that I did. So let's have a look at the Japanese footage. I'm sorry to stop it so quick in the video, but are you kidding me? Unless all my books are on at school, we've got a moon there that's larger than the Earth. Now you might think, oh well, it's only a graphic, you know, it's just extended. But this is not the first time that this sort of graphic has been collected together. And remember, this video has millions of clips on YouTube, so people looking at this, not as wise as you, might get the impression that the Earth is a lot smaller than it is. And if you think I'm being paranoid,
Just take a look at this quick video from NASA Goddard Space Flight Promotion video. Using wide information that makes the listener sing song. With our view fixed on the moon, the rest of the system seems to dance.
Where's the Earth moving in that way?
let's switch back to the Japanese video. Now you can see the NASA seems to think that the moon is incredibly large compared to Earth. And the conditions in terms of wide angle lenses, etc., but to give that distinct impression, it's the size of the marble, obviously it's the size of the moon. The Japanese do exactly the same. I can't help but wonder this idea of down the angle that we might have to start with.
So let's take another look at the Japanese version of Earthrise.
Why is the camera rising?
The sun is located right behind the camera. The sun's light is projected directly onto the Earth, which appears round like a full moon.
Really?
In this footage, the Earth's southern hemisphere appears on top. This is a spectacular view of the beautiful planet we call home.
Bullshit.
You see there two beautiful Earth rises, one still up on 11, and the other one from the Japanese website. And now I'm going to show you one final clip again from NASA.
Oh my. But who took the picture of?
And for those of you who are going to shout, but the moon's on an elliptical orbit, yes, I'm aware of that. So let me just read you something from the site. The average distance the moon is from the Earth is 237,700 miles, but the number is fluctuating to 225,000 miles, a difference of approximately 26,000 miles. So that's what the cosmos is saying. but that's still slightly more details. Let's just go back to this. We would still be left with a planetary body 3 times the size of the moon, even at its furthest point. So, given those numbers and the diameter, remember what I said about the geometry right at the beginning of this? The geometry is correct, I don't have a problem with that. But again, like my previous video you may have seen, and if not, on the canals, the geometry and the math is perfect. It's how they're used. So even taking into account the apogee and the perigee, you are not going to get the Earth shrinking to that size if you're taking a photograph from the surface of the Earth. I don't care what camera you're using. It's going to be 4 times, it's going to appear in the sky like a huge body crashing into a planet. I mean, it's going to fill the sky when it's at its closest point. And when it's at its furthest point, it still should be 3 times larger than the moon, even taking into consideration the which, as far as I'm concerned, makes the images that you are currently see the scale of the and then you've got NASA's same photographs from the program, Earthrise, and the Earth is a dot in the distance. I'm sorry, I call them bullshit again, because the snake tongue logo goes far and wide, and this is just, well, I'll be honest, it's just taking a piss. If you stop doing animations showing the Earth is slowing down, and any longer trying to think that you were trying to bring this to the next generation. And the fact that the space program is so we're coming up with the same information, we're backing each other up to make it look like it's independent. I mean, for God's sake, the Japanese Earthrise. No, it's not the Japanese Earthrise, it's the NASA Earthrise. And Japan's space program is a subsidiary. So, with all of the conspiracy theories of did they or did they not have the moon, jet, just all photographs at a later date to show basically the truest scale and the point being is I'm using your own scales. So although this week's video is a short one, I hope it's short, sharp, and to the point in terms of, Earthrise images. I don't care if you're on your apogee, it's going to be at least 3 times larger than the moon itself. So I'll see you next time on the observation deck. And until then, don't forget to subscribe. Remember,
Question everything. Oh, what am I doing? Here next.
Well, good morning. This is Ian R. Crane, and it's a very pleasant, very reasonably fresh morning up here on the edge of the Lancashire Moors at Kent Hill behind me. Clear skies, except that there should be a beautiful sunrise, but once again it seems that every aircraft in the northern hemisphere has been flying between Manchester and the East Lancashire area here. And so the cloud has this artificial sheen right across the sun. Anyway, I mean, isn't it Bill Gates and Harvard and the Royal Society who all talk about geoengineering and yet try and raise it with any British MP and they immediately turn and run in the other direction. Sheer fear about something that people are starting to observe on an increasing basis. Well, the title of this morning's broadcast on the morning of Wednesday, the 6th of February 2019, is The Corruption of Humanity. And although this has been obviously going on for a long time, but I think it's a fundamental altruistic view that humanity is primarily good, that humanity has the capability and capacity of mutual cooperation and compassion, but that consequently by this group of global corporatists, these socio-psychopaths, who believe that everyone has their price. And sadly, through fear, there's no question many people do. That's fear of not being able to put a roof over your head, fear of not being able to put food on the table. And so every single day, unfortunately, millions of people on the corporatist payroll make decisions that they know to be fundamentally wrong, or at best flawed. Yet, rather than confront, rather than challenge, rather than question those instructions or orders, it's yes sir, no sir, big action sir, because if they don't, then they fear that by the end of the month they're going to and sadly, the vast majority of people in this country, and indeed in the Western world now, are perhaps at best 3 months or 3 salary checks away from being on the cusp of homelessness. And this is a fear that unfortunately keeps people out of their true self and forces them to be a corporate core. And no one can relate to that better than me, because that was certainly the situation that I was in up until some 20 odd years ago, when perhaps a bit of realisation that there had to be more to life than being in a situation, maybe a well-paid one, where when the company said jump, you didn't even need to ask how high, you knew what was required. And sadly, we have the results of the clear results of people doing what they believe to be necessary to get their next salary check. And the result of that is the likes of David Notes being in Wandsworth Jail for the heinous crime of producing and distributing a product that has proven to be extremely effective in treating cancers and many other conditions. And one of David's major customers, is Dr. Jeffrey Bradstreet, who had gone out on a limb in the US and was treating autistic children and adults with GC-math and claiming that there were tremendous results up to and including getting people into school after a relatively short course of GC-math. And these were people who had been previously unable to be put into the public school system due to them being effectively on the autistic scale. Well, David is obviously having to endure his time in Wandsworth, and it's not something that comes easily for him. Fortunately, he has a cell on his own, but I went to see him on Monday, and first of all, let me make the observation. He asked me to pass on his extreme gratitude to all those people who have taken the time to write to him since he was jailed at the back end of November last year. And obviously he was doing his best to write back to everybody. but obviously politically doesn't manage to get through everybody in perhaps a short time scale. But obviously it's not a pleasant experience. It's not one that one would expect somebody to have to endure who had put their phenomenal effort and indeed their personal resources into building up a business which, in his opinion, was for the benefit of humanity. But of course, it went completely against the grain of Big Pharma, and so they get their henchmen at the MHRA, the Medicines and Healthcare Regulatory Agency, which is effectively a quasi-government body, and many of these people on the senior management of the MHRA are
Right, I'm going to stop